UFO.
Stream Elements.
Sorry, I was alt tabbed out.
Said. Gatherbeast is now live.
Just
Streaming
drop me off
Wardogs,
wherever you want.
1440p 2K, drops on, Gallipoli Anzac WW1 shooter alien technology on the moon UFO mothership mantis people
Just here is
alien
good.
head
Just here is good in the south somewhere.
alien head or GXE.
There's a way in, there's a way in.
Now over here!
Thanks, Vic. Heals. 5. Here we go, pump, bruh.
Capturing the FOB, boys. Capturing the FOB. Halfway there.
Well done. Good work.
Not found what you're after yet.
To the tanks. Need people for tanks. We need people for tanks. We got like 20 tanks. We need people for tanks. Quick.
I'm coming.
Holy shit. More tanks. We got more tanks. Don't worry about your loadout. You don't need it. Get in a tank.
Where's my tank?
Joyce.
Yeah, boys. This tank over here needs a gunner. Jump in this one in, this one in. I think it's the other side.
front of this wall. I forgot you get shot in that fucking thing.
Welcome back.
That's 2 minutes. I'm not going to make it back in time.
Don't let me down out there. Hey, what are you buying?
Resembling a Ponzi scheme can no longer be sustained. On July 27, 2026, in Shandong Province, customers of Huizhong Professional Cooperative reportedly encountered problems withdrawing deposits. Many people went to local government offices seeking answers. Video showed police and security personnel present at the scene. One depositor said she had placed 400,000 yuan with the cooperative and was unable to withdraw it after the deposit matured. She accused the institution of deceiving ordinary people and said authorities refused to formally register their complaints after the crisis emerged. Some people familiar with the situation claimed the cooperative had already been unable to process normal withdrawals for some time. As many depositors struggled to recover their hard-earned money, large numbers of people gathered to seek explanations. The protests were later met with a police response. Some online commentators said China's banking system has become a game of hot potato, with many banks already relying on new funds to cover old problems. They predicted that more banks could face crises in the future, especially local banks. Recently, a video posted online showed two women breaking down in despair outside a branch of China Post, a state-owned bank. This is truly heartbreaking. Nobody's coming to help us. Do you still dare to keep your money here? All my money's in the bank, but I don't even have a single penny in my hands right now. My money disappeared after I put it in the bank. Why is this happening? This bank is hurting people. I have all the documents and procedures, but I still can't withdraw a single cent. Everyone, please judge for yourselves. Why are they treating us like this? What are we supposed to do? There have also been some online reports claiming that depositors' accounts were frozen, leaving them unable to access money even for urgent expenses.
I
went to 10 Bank of China branches in one day, and none of them allowed me to withdraw money. This is what state-owned institutions are doing to ordinary people. It's completely heartless. I don't know how this can be handled. Come take a look at this bank. We need to withdraw money. My elderly father is in critical condition, and it's extremely difficult to get the money out. They keep asking for this document and that document. I even brought my father's ID card. Everyone, please pay attention. I brought the household registration book too, but they still demand more proof. Now the money needed to save his life cannot be withdrawn. What kind of bank is this? Everyone should see how they manage things and how they treat ordinary people. We need this money for emergency treatment, but they keep asking for more paperwork. Please look at how this bank operates and how it treats ordinary citizens.
I was trying to withdraw 25,000 yuan from my account. I was delayed here for 20 minutes, and I had to make countless phone calls for verification. I told them I needed the money because my spouse was hospitalized. Then they asked me, which department is your spouse in? I'm not the one in the hospital. I'm using this money for expenses. Can't I withdraw my own money? Scammers can transfer money, but when ordinary citizens try to withdraw their own money, it becomes this difficult. After seeing these reports, many people questioned. Bank regulations clearly state that deposits are voluntary and withdrawals are unrestricted. Why has withdrawing money become so difficult now? Some people wondered if banks are actually short of cash and afraid of large-scale bank runs. Banks in multiple parts of China have reportedly seen customers lining up to withdraw money. Some people brought small stools and waited outside bank branches. Others chose to break long-term deposits early despite losing interest. Some ATMs reportedly displayed cash shortages, while mobile banking apps frequently froze or failed to open. Oh my god, Jiangsu Bank disconnected the network cable. All my money is in there. I wanted to withdraw some money to cover my losses, but I had no chance. The app simply won't open. Even when I get in, I can't see my money. I had 70,000 yuan and a 3-year fixed deposit. This is China Construction Bank. I told them I wanted to withdraw my money, but they insisted I call this person and call the police. They kept asking what I was going to use the money for. I just want to ask. It's my own money. If I keep it at home, is that not allowed? I'm going to post this online and expose it. Look at China Construction Bank. They won't even let me withdraw 70,000 yuan. What are you doing? You're forcing me to call the police. My money wasn't stolen or robbed. Is it really this difficult for depositors to withdraw their own money? The video showed bank employees scolding the woman and stopping her from recording. Why are you asking me what I need it for? This is just the money for my salary. You're asking me what I'm using it for? Don't I need to live? What do you use your salary for? Don't you eat? You're making things so difficult for depositors. I'm going to expose this. A female depositor said on Douyin that she tried to transfer 18,000 yuan to her husband. After entering her password, the system showed, receive only, no payments allowed, transaction denied. She called customer service and was told to resolve the issue through an online video call. During the video session, the staff questioned her relationship with the recipient and required her to upload a photo of their marriage certificate while staying connected on the call. They then asked her to take and upload a photo of her ID card online. After going through all that, the restriction was finally removed. She complained that the entire process was extremely frustrating. One online user complained, many banks have recently tightened transaction limits. Some bank cards can only be used for 5,000 yuan per day, while others have been restricted to as little as 1,300 yuan. A customer urgently needing to withdraw 100,000 yuan was reportedly told to make an appointment 20 days in advance. Another depositor said she went to a bank to withdraw 50,000 yuan in cash, but staff told her she could only withdraw 10,000 yuan that day because of card limits and restrictions on the number of withdrawals. Another angry depositor said,
all the money ordinary people save comes from years of hard work, but when we try to withdraw our own money, we have to endure endless questioning and humiliation. Scammers can transfer hundreds of thousands of yuan away instantly. and the banks don't say a word or even issue a warning. And when we transfer 50,000 yuan to our children for tuition, we are blocked by strict limits and forced to go to the bank counter.
China's banking sector has faced growing pressure in recent years as the property crisis deepened. Many small banks have been hit hard by slower loan growth and rising bad loans. This has led to a wave of mergers, closures, and deregistrations across the banking industry. On April 14th, the National Financial Regulatory Administration released its latest list of licensed financial institutions. The data showed that by the end of 2025, there were 6,489 legal financial entities supervised by the regulator and its local branches, a decrease of 711 from the end of 2024. Among them, the number of rural small and medium-sized banks fell by 670, a decline of 18.6%. Other data showed that rural commercial banks and village banks have been at the center of this major restructuring. By the end of June, 134 village banks had been approved to exit the market within 6 months. Facing growing risks in the banking system, Chinese authorities have begun consolidating smaller banks under the stated goal of reducing financial risks. On August 18th, Guizhou province provided a typical example. Financial regulators in the province announced that 27 rural small and medium-sized financial institutions across Liupanshui, Xianxinan, and Bijie had been approved for dissolution. Their assets and liabilities will be transferred to 3 newly established city-level rural commercial banks. Notably, this was not simply a matter of closing branches. In Liupanshui, 4 institutions were dissolved. In Xianxinan, 13 institutions were involved. In Bijie, another 10 institutions were affected. Former independent local banking entities are being merged into larger regional banking systems. Some commentators argue that this shows the wave of failures among small and medium-sized banks is continuing, while financial risks are rising at an even faster pace. With large-scale consolidation happening on one side and institutional dissolutions on the other, the mixed signals have fueled growing anxiety among depositors. Under a lack of transparency from Chinese authorities, some online users have questioned, what exactly does dissolution mean? How will creditors' rights and debts be handled? Will debts owed by local governments simply be written off? On August 10th, an ex-user named Quantum Leap said this was a major signal that Chinese authorities are preparing to default on domestic debts. The post claimed that the government was first testing public reactions by dissolving several village banks. If the response remained manageable, the process could be expanded on a larger scale, including larger urban banks. The post accused the authorities of carrying out and fraud and robbing the entire population. The Henan Village Bank scandal occurred in April 2022. Several village banks in Henan suddenly shut down online withdrawal channels, leaving tens of billions of yuan in deposits from tens of thousands of customers inaccessible. Since then, depositors have launched repeated campaigns seeking the return of their money, but with limited results. Many depositors who continue to seek answers were reportedly monitored, harassed, or detained. The latest large-scale protest took place on April 16th, when hundreds of Henan Village Bank depositors gathered again at the headquarters of Zhengzhou Bank in Zhengzhou. The gathering was reportedly suppressed by local authorities. Why have small and medium-sized banks repeatedly faced crises? The biggest pressure on China's banking system does not come simply from bad loan ratios or individual corporate defaults. Instead, critics argue that the deeper problem lies in the massive debt burden of local governments. Local finances have long relied on land sales and off-the-books borrowing, allowing debt levels to continue expanding until they eventually dragged banks into a financial risk trap. Although banks appear to maintain normal lending operations on the surface, critics argue they've become closely tied to local government debt and serve as hidden channels for supporting strained public finances. More seriously, this debt pressure is not an isolated problem. It has become intertwined with the collapse of the property market, weakening consumption, and frozen credit conditions, creating a cycle that reinforces itself. When local government debt cannot be resolved, banks struggle to restore liquidity. At the same time, banks' tightening of lending further increases pressure on businesses and weakens consumer confidence. Critics argue that the decline of financial freedom is not merely a matter of risk control measures, but a sign that the broader system is gradually losing its ability to adjust itself under the weight of mounting debt. This structure has created a highly interconnected financial chain. Household savings flow into banks, which flow into local government financing platforms, and finally, into infrastructure investment. Critics argue that this means Chinese people's savings have been turned into government financial resources and used to support public spending. In other words, local government debt has become a hidden bomb sitting on top of China's banking system, with the potential to explode at any time. They say it is also the root cause behind the broader tightening of financial controls. As local government financing platforms face increasing pressure to repay debt, the quality of bank assets has continued to deteriorate. All 42 Chinese banks listed on the A-share market fell below their net asset value per share, a phenomenon known as break below book value. Data showed that in the first half of 2026, only 6 of China's 42 listed banks had stocks that rose, while 36 declined. The sector's total market value fell from about 15.7 trillion yuan at the beginning of the year to 14.1 trillion yuan, wiping out about 1.5 trillion yuan in value. All 42 listed banks were trading below net assets, with their price-to-book ratio falling from 0.65 at the start of the year to 0.57. A stock trading below net assets means its market price per share is lower than its book value per share, with a PB ratio below 1. This indicates that the market price is below the company's accounting value, and often reflects investors' pessimism about future profitability or weaknesses across the broader market. On July 18th, Taiwanese financial commentator Xin Qinho wrote on Facebook that China Minsheng Bank had the
Forward! Forward! Extra rounds here, chap! Make it count! Reloading, lads!
Shit.
Take a crack at that spot! Onwards!
lowest price-to-book ratio, at only 0.22 times. He argued that many of these banks are deeply trapped by bad debt problems. Xie compared the situation with Japan, where major banks collapsed after the country's financial bubble burst in 1989, leading to a later restructuring of the financial holding companies. Taiwan also carried out 2 rounds of financial reforms. Today, all 15 Taiwanese financial holding companies have price-to-book ratios above 1. He says this shows that after aggressively writing off bad loans, Taiwan's banking sector significantly improved its financial health. Xie analyzed that among China's 42 listed banks, only a small number have relatively stronger fundamentals, such as state-owned banks including Bank of China. But banks including Minsheng, Huaxia, and Bank of Beijing are facing heavy pressure from bad loans. He said Minsheng Bank's largest customer was Evergrande Group. Over the past several years, companies including Evergrande, Country Garden, Sunac China, Greentown China, and Vanke expanded rapidly by relying on political influence to obtain bank financing. Now, as some of these companies have collapsed, banks are left with bad loans that no one is willing to deal with. Xie compared the situation to a patient who discovers cancer but refuses to remove the tumor. If it remains in the body, he said, the condition will only continue to worsen. China's banking industry is entering a difficult moment.
China's motorcycle scene has been making headlines recently. Just a few months ago, Zangshu Motorcycles was hailed by many as a pride of Chinese manufacturing. Now batches of owners have begun posting videos criticizing the brand. Zangshu 500. It's been ridden less than 7,000 kilometers. I'm not just complaining. Take a look. The chain has already come off. See this? I'm not targeting anyone. I'm just saying the quality isn't good. Here's the Jiangsu motorcycle with only 2,800 kilometers on it. The rear pressure plate fell off. Why? This is because the manufacturer didn't conduct strength testing before the bike left the factory, and customers ended up becoming test subjects. The data was collected through customers testing the parts. After the manufacturer issued a recall, they improved the components, but who paid for that cost? The users did. Chinese brands still need to improve. This mindset has to change. Customers shouldn't bear that cost. Manufacturers should test their products more rigorously than customers ever will. This is dangerous. It's too risky to do things this way. Born in 1987, Zhang Shu has become one of the fastest rising entrepreneurs in China's motorcycle industry in recent years. He entered the motorcycle business early, starting from repairing and modifying bikes before moving into complete vehicle development. In 2017, Zhang Shu and his partner founded Cove Motorcycles. The company grew from selling only hundreds of motorcycles a year to tens of thousands, becoming a dark horse in China's motorcycle industry. In 2024, Zhang Shu left Cove and founded Zangshu Motorcycles in April the same year. With Zhang's personal reputation and highly competitive pricing, the new brand quickly gained market attention. But as more motorcycles were sold, more problems began to emerge. Increasing numbers of owners started questioning the quality of Zangshu motorcycles. This fell off during a motorcycle trip. Look, it happened on a national highway. Several ADV bikes were riding with it, and this one fell apart on the road. If you were going to Tibet, Lhasa, or Xinjiang, wouldn't this put people in danger? Probably get eaten by wolves. This brand is a joke.
It was being ridden normally, and then the handlebars broke. Oh my god. This happened in Wulagai, East Ujimchin Banner, Inner Mongolia. The motorcycle's handlebars snapped during normal riding. There was no external damage and no collision. The connection point simply broke.
The blogger said she was riding a Zangshu 500RR. In April 2026, the motorcycle had fallen over while stationary. She later sent it to the Zangshu service center for inspection and repairs. At the time, staff confirmed that there was no problem with the handlebars and that the motorcycle could continue to be used normally. In late July, she and her friends traveled from Guangzhou, Inner Mongolia, for a motorcycle trip, and the handlebars suddenly broke. Because the incident happened about 500 kilometers away from the nearest service center, she had no choice but to arrange transportation to send the motorcycle back to the Zangshu Motorcycles Guanchen store in Guangzhou. The service center sent the broken handlebars back to the factory. The factory later said the break was related to the stationary fall that happened months earlier. The owner rejected that explanation. She questioned that if the fall had already caused internal damage to the handlebars, why did the service center tell her there was no problem after inspection and allow her to continue riding? So, what exactly did the previous inspection actually detect? And this is not the only recent controversy involving the brand. During a motorcycle trip on the Zangshu 820, I discovered a major safety issue. The automatic headlight is currently set to automatic mode. When it's daylight, it turns off. But while riding, I entered the tunnels, the Mawu tunnel. It was extremely dark, with no light source inside. The headlight wouldn't turn on no matter how many times I pressed the button, even after I manually